Hi, everyone. Are you ready to put your chicken together tonight? Okay, you guys right now are all muted. You are more than welcome to unmute yourself to engage in conversation with us, or you can ask a question and then mute yourself again. That's not a problem. Can everybody hear us? Just put a thumbs up if you can. Okay, good. Okay. So you don't have to keep your video on if you're not comfortable with it, but it does help us kind of gauge how fast or if we need to slow down as we go through all the different steps. So if you don't mind leaving your camera on, great. Otherwise, I do have my chat open. If you don't want to keep it on and we're going too fast or you missed a step or something, just send me something in chat and we'll back up and go over it or slow down a little bit for you. So we're going to wait a couple more minutes and see if anybody else jumps on here with us. I don't know where everybody is, but it is absolutely beautiful here in PA. And I can imagine maybe some people decide they want to be outside today.
For sure.
So my name is Dory and I'm the retail manager here at Meadowbrook Gourds.
And my name is Amber. I'm what we call a gourd beautician here.
So she actually makes all the gourds nice and pretty at the very end.
Yep.
Has everybody done a class with us before? Hard to see.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you want to just start going over all the parts?
I can. All right. So I'm just going to go over all of your different parts that you should have within your kit. This is what we're creating, our little Hattie the Hen here. I did say that right.
That is right.
Okay, so you should have Hattie. That's the gourd. I'm just putting mine together here so I can get it to show you. So you should have this. Ours are really dark. I think you guys' should be lighter than what this is showing. But yeah, you should have the top piece and the bottom piece, and they should definitely come apart. That is so when we go to paint the bottom, we don't get any on the head, and we can remove that and then paint the bottom, which is really nice. So you should have that. You should have two little feet, and that's going to be these with the hole in the center. Don't worry about that hole. We are going to fill that hole, and that hole is going to get covered with these little pins, the dowel rods. You should have two of them. And then you should have a little beak, which is this piece here. You should have a wattle, which is this piece here. And then a comb, which is this piece. So those should be all of your pieces to just the gourd itself. Now I'm going to go over all of your other extra pieces that we actually use on the gourd. So you should have your paint pods. You should have all of these lovely colors. And then you should have a separate pod that sometimes it has a G on it that just symbolizes glue. Ours do not this time, so if yours doesn't, that's okay. This is the glue, so it's the single one that's not in the other strip. You should have a little sponge. You should have two Q-tips, a paintbrush, and a toothpick. Okay, And if you don't have any of these items, if you have something, when we get to using any of the items, I can tell you something else that we can use if you didn't get any of them in your kit. And you are also more than welcome to use any other colors. You don't have to stick to the colors that we sent along home with you. You're more than welcome to use like any other colors if you have at your house. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, before we get started, I do want to have you guys grab just a couple things. You'll need a little bowl for water, just to clean your brushes and your little sponge. You'll want some paper towels just in case you make a mess. Other than that, I think.
Yeah, we're not going to need scissors. You will want to wet your sponge. So if you want to go ahead and wet your sponge a while, you can also do that. What if the head doesn't come off? It doesn't. Is it like it's glued? Wow, your head really doesn't come off, does it? Okay, what I would suggest that it's not gonna hurt anything, because we're gonna eventually be gluing the head back on anyway. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you're painting, that you just kind of paint along the body, along that edge, and not worry about getting it on the head itself. So you're just a step ahead of everybody.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started as long as there aren't any more questions. So we are gonna take our body of our gourd, and I'm gonna have you paint this first. So on the original, as you can see in the middle here, it has a white background base to that original. Oh, you also need plates, like a paper plate.
I forgot to get those for us. I'll be right back.
That's okay. Yes, you'll also need a paper plate, and I will show you later why you'll need a paper plate. But you guys can go ahead and get started and paint the body of your gourd. You'll just want to open up the white paint pot, and you'll just go ahead and paint the bottom of the gourd. I would wet your paintbrush first, just a little bit. And the paint does go on a lot better by wetting your paintbrush. And it also thins out your paint a little bit more too, and it'll help it go onto the gourd a lot smoother. And it'll help the gourd to dry faster in between coats too. To hold your gourd, you'll just stick your hand in the center of it and spread your fingers out just like this. And that's how you'll hold it.
Except for the person whose head is glued onto it. You just are gonna have to hold on to the top of the head by the stem. Wonder how his got glued on. That is so weird.
That is super weird. I would not worry about any lines that you see on this. We are gonna do, we're gonna do 2 coats, I believe. We'll do 2 or 3 coats depending on what you would like as well. And we're also gonna be sponging 2 other colors on top. So you really won't see like a lot of that first layer, but you will see some of it.
Oh yeah? That's odd because normally, oh yeah. It's on.
That's okay.
Yeah. We do clean the both the head and the body out a little bit, but you still might see some seeds or maybe even some of the dry pulp left in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Since we're going to be gluing the head back on anyway, you won't even know that those things are inside. You may hear them jiggle around in there if you shake it, but it's not going to hurt anything. I know, I don't know
Looking
why.
me in the forehead. I was like,
I guess spring is coming. The flies are out. Put my hand around here, Mom. Do we need to paint the bottom?
no.
Okay, I didn't think so, but I thought I'd ask.
Yeah. So the bottom, you can let like the sanded part that you see on the bottom, you can let that go unless you're really concerned about it, because the hen just sits. You won't see it anyway, but it's totally up to you guys if you would want to paint that bottom.
And I don't know how many of you have kids, but baby wipes are wonderful things to clean up the paint with. The paint does stain clothing, so try not to get it on your clothes. But it does come off your hands and everything. And baby wipes are great ways to get it off. So.
And they're also a really nice to get paint off of a gourd too. So like your hands, it really works, but it also really works on the gourds as well.
So Ethan, if you do happen to get any on the head when you're painting, you can, if you have wipes, even just a plain wet cloth, you can just go ahead and wipe that off with that too.
Okay. So I did my first layer, and I think Dory's done with her first layer too.
I am.
So we can just set those aside once you're done with that first layer. We'll let that dry, which again, if you water down your paint, it won't take long to dry at all. But I'll give everybody a couple more minutes here.
Oh, I got the last one. Okay, so I know we've got someone who just joined us. So the only thing that we have done so far is we have your paint pots. There's like, what, 6 of them in a row. And the only thing we have done is we've taken and painted with the first coat of white on the body. So if you want to go ahead and do that a while, that's the only thing that everybody's working on right now.
All right. So the next thing, if you're still painting your body, don't worry. There's not many steps on this, guys, so you'll be able to catch up, I promise. But the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use that same paintbrush. So you want to clean that paintbrush off. But if you don't want to, you don't really have to either, because we're gonna use the yellow. So the yellow will just get a little bit duller if you don't clean your paintbrush. So that's okay. Mm-hmm. So get your yellow paint out, and we're gonna paint the 2 little feet and the little dowel rods that go in the feet, and then that beak as well. The beak also gets the yellow. So on the sample that you see right in front here, all the yellow pieces that you see, those are what we're gonna paint next. So you can go ahead and paint all of those.
Both sides of the feet? Yeah, I guess so, because you can see them.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll do the first side first, and then.
Yep, I would do both sides of the feet. Same with the beak. I would do the whole thing. Now, the part that actually like sticks into the gourd, you don't have to paint. Same with these little dowel rod pins. You can just paint the very top of them, and that'll be fine.
Oh. Can you see your recollections?
I will say with this yellow paint, I would probably not water it down as much as what we did with the body. And if you didn't water the body down, that's okay. Just keep going what you're doing.
I'm going to see if I can find that real fast.
I also wouldn't really worry about getting the edges of the feet either, like the inside edge here. I wouldn't worry about painting that either. I would just let that go. So once you get your first coat of yellow paint on your feet, I would let them dry and then flip them over and do the first coat on the other side. So I'm just going through and painting my other pieces while they dry. And for those of you also who sort of just kind of came into the video, you are more than welcome to use other colors if you want to do something a little bit different than the original here. You're more than welcome to. So I'm just going to flip my feet over and do another or a coat on that side. Now it's looking like one coat would be okay on the feet and everything else. But if you want it that darker and more pronounced yellow, I would probably do a second coat. That is up to you. Also, if you get any of the paint in, like especially with the feet or on the body and the holes that are cut out, if you take your toothpick and kind of just like go around in the holes. That'll help get that paint out. Okay, I am gonna paint another coat on my little beak just because I want it a little darker.
Did you go sides of your feet?
I did do sides.
Okay. So has everybody been out to the farm? Or I know some of you might live too far away, but if you're not too far away, have you been out to the farm before to any of our events or anything? Stupid fly.
Yeah, I would say your feet don't really need a second coat.
No, my feet don't either.
No, I just wanted to see what it would look like on the feet if it would need a second coat. But
It look too different, does it?
it does not. It doesn't look different. So
Okay.
one coat is good. So once you're done with all of your yellow pieces, just set them to the side because we'll glue everything together once we're done with the body.
Okay, and we're done with the yellow paint then, aren't we?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're done with the yellow paint.
Great.
So we're gonna go back to the body once you're done with those. That is our next step, is just painting another coat on that body of the white paint. So you'll wanna make sure this time you actually really clean your brush out. That way you don't get any yellow in your body. If you do, that's okay.
Each layer looks nicer and nicer as you put it on.
Mm-hmm. It does, and I really like how the paint goes on really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Oh, and you also don't have to worry about getting into the cutout of if your head comes apart. You don't have to worry about getting into that cutout when you're painting as well. We're gonna glue the head on so that you won't even see it.
this dive bomber around my head.
Okay, painting away.
Looks like a mess. I'm a very messy painter.
And I think it's looking like we only really needed your 2 coats. At least mine looks.
Yeah, because I think so too, because we're very sponging over top then. So
Yeah.
So while we're doing the second coat here, I'll just give you a little bit of what's going on at the farm right now. About a month ago, we brought in our crop from last year of gourds, and they have now been separated according to size and shape. And they are in what we call our gourd cribs. They will stay in there until we're ready to use them. So that's already done. We're now getting the field ready to actually do our planting for this year. Starting next month, which is, gosh, only a week or 2 away here, we're going to be starting our gourds in the greenhouses. So they actually will be in the greenhouses for a month. And then towards the end of May, when the weather starts getting nicer, we'll actually pull them out on a big bed so they harden up against the weather a little bit, and then like second week in June we'll start putting them in the ground, so then they will grow all summer long. So we're just kind of getting ready for everything. Our winter wheat is starting to come up now. It's about 8 inches, so that's coming up real good. And it's nice to see lots of green on the farm now. It was all kind of brown, and so now it's nice to see the trees are blooming and the fields are green. I'm ready for it.
Yes. All right. Once you're done painting your second coat, you can go ahead and clean your brush out, which I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes here just to catch up. So I'll just go over everything that we've done so far, just in case I don't know where everybody is at. So we did 2 coats on the body of the hen here, and we did the yellow pieces on this hen too. So your 2 feet, the dowel rods that go into the feet, and then our little beak as well. So that is all we have painted so far.
Jeanette, you look like you're having a lot of fun. She heard her name and thought, oh no, I'm in trouble.
So I think I'm gonna move on. The last two pieces that we have to paint that go on the gourd are your comb and your wattle. So we'll get those two pieces next and we'll go ahead and paint them. And then those are going to be your red color. So the paint pod that has the red in it, you want to get that color
It
out.
looks like both sides on the comb and one side on the wattle.
Yes.
Okay. Please let us know if we're going too fast or if anybody's confused as to where we're at. So.
And when I go to paint these, I just have them laying on the table.
See, that's why I'm messy, because I try and hold mine.
That would be why.
Yes, that would be why.
Yeah, I just lay it on the table and paint away.
That would explain a lot.
And I wouldn't worry about getting any of the edges on these pieces either.
No, they're black, and so that makes it nice.
Yes.
Like Juliet.
But that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Although we do have to sponge it, so that might.
And I am doing 2 coats on these pieces. I think it's not really covering as well as I would like it, but that's totally up to you guys if you want to do 2 coats. Whatever you prefer. Just gonna let mine dry a little bit.
Let me do my other side. Now, instead of on my hands, it's on my table.
Mhm. Yeah. I still get some on my hands, but too much. So next,
I have to flip mine over and do that on the other side.
yes. And I'm just gonna do 2 coats on mine. So I'm just going to do another coat. Your dry line a little bit.
Okay, so while you guys are finishing that up, I just wanted to tell you in the notes for the, or in the chat, I did put the website to our farm events. We do have 2 classes, Zoom classes coming up in May. The first one is, and I don't have that one to show you because it's actually back in production, actually getting made right now. But it is a little pig. It's a Penelope pig. She's brand new and she's on a scene. Let's see if I can bring it up on my thing here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's a little pig and she has a fence behind her with a straw bale. And she sits on a little wood biscuit. She's going to be $25 and that's May 4th. And we're shipping them out as soon as they get through production. We're going to be shipping them out. So they'll be going out very shortly. And then the second one, which I do have, is a cottage, and it looks like this. It's $40 and it comes with everything that you see here, the wood biscuit and everything. We send along the paints that to make it look exactly like this, and that's how Amber and I will be doing it. But the nice thing about this is if you decide you have a different color theme, you have plenty of time to get different colors and you can make it whatever colors you'd like. So both of them are on our website now, and you can actually order them and we'll ship them out to you as soon as they're ready to go. But they're the 2 May classes that'll be coming up here in a couple weeks. It's hard to believe we're going to be in May.
That's so crazy. I want mine to dry a little bit so I can paint the other side.
Oh, yeah. Mine's getting there.
I will say, if you're waiting like for things to dry, if you take a hair dryer and you turn it on low, that will work wonders. If you've ever been to any of our like create your owns or any of our classes that we do here on the farm, I don't think we've done any like classes on the farm yet this year.
No, not yet. We're hoping.
Yeah.
Hoping soon.
But we also use the hair dryers in like during those classes as well. So they're very useful. Once you're done painting the wattle and the comb, you can go ahead and just set them to the side. And then all of our little pieces that we have to glue on should be all painted. And now we just have to focus on the body of the gourd and then the head. So that is what we'll jump to next. You shouldn't need your paintbrush anymore.
For those of you who joined us a little late, when you are sponging, you want to start with a wet sponge. So you might want to take just a couple minutes to go and make it wet. Squeeze out any of the excess water, just so that it's a damp sponge.
Yes, and that is what we're using next is our sponge. So you'll want to grab your sponge and the body of your gourd. And you'll really want to have a plate this time.
If you don't have a plate, a napkin will work too,
Yeah.
or a paper towel.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start with the brown first. It looks like our browns are a little bit like there's like water on top. If you just stir them,
It's separated a little bit.
yeah. And I'm just taking my toothpick and stirring that a little bit.
That's good.
What I will say is you're going to want to dump that brown onto your plate.
All of it?
Yeah, because
Okay.
we're not going to use it anymore other than this.
Okay.
So go ahead and dump all of that onto the plate.
Works for me.
The reason I have you dumping it onto your plate is just because you can't really get your sponge down into that little paint pod, and this is going to be a lot easier just having it on the plate. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is with your sponge that is damp, is you'll take your brown paint, you'll find what side of the sponge you want to use. Just dip it into that brown paint a little bit. When you dip it into that brown paint, what I want you to do is take it on the plate and get some of that excess paint off of that sponge. And then you'll just go ahead and sponge the brown on. And when you sponge, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on it. You want to just dab it. Getting the excess paint off helps it so that it's not so globby on the gourd. And everyone's sponging is going to look different.
Some people are very heavy spongers. Some people are very light spongers. So
yes,
I'm a heavier sponger than what Amber is.
Yep.
So,
and that's okay. It just depends on how you want it. If you like the heavier sponge and you are a lighter sponger, do your first layer all around and then go ahead and go back and do another layer of that brown. And then once you're done with the brown, you'll still keep your body. You'll want to close your paint pot of that brown, and you'll want to open one of your red paint pods and again dump that out onto your plate.
I need my Q-tip. It helps to get it out.
Yes.
Then you do the same thing.
And then, yep, you'll do the same thing. Now, also with sponging, I'll also tell you, if you want to see all of your colors, you'll want to just make sure that you sponge a little lighter than the last time. And that's how you'll be able to see all of your colors.
And the nice thing about sponging is if one color is too dark or you have too much of it, you can go back and sponge the white over top and then start again. So sponging is like one of those things where you really can't do it wrong.
Yes. And I did not clean my sponge between the two colors. And it seemed to work out just fine. I think, Dory, you might have.
I did, but I don't think it really would have mattered whether I did.
I don't think so. So if you didn't, that's okay. If you did, that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah, I definitely sponge darker a lot more than you.
But that's okay.
But that's what makes everyone have a unique project.
Yes.
The sponge, you can actually reuse that sponge for future projects. Make sure you just clean it out real good. It will get hard when it dries, but just wet it again when you want to use it the next time, and you'll have a nice sponge then.
I think I'm gonna do like another color on mine.
Okay.
Just for fun.
Why not?
Yeah. So if you want to mix colors and do like another color on yours, you're more than welcome to. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
You could actually even, if you wanted to, you could even use some of the yellow and add a nice bright yellow to it also.
For sure. You just want to make sure you don't use all of your white paint because we still need a little bit of that. But all your other colors we are done with. I don't think I'm doing another color.
You're not going to do a color?
No. No, I'm like mixing them with my sponge and I just don't like it. So I think I'm all finished.
Celeste, you're eyeing up your body there. Do you like what you did?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like what it looks like?
I do.
Good. Amy likes hers. Good. Good. So the sponging's going well.
While we let the body dry a little bit, what I'm gonna have you do is take your last white of your paint pot here. And the only thing we need to do with that is you'll grab your toothpick and you're gonna put a little fleck in the eye. So you'll just take your toothpick, dab a little bit in that white paint, and you're going to put a little dot in the eye about 2 o'clock. Just brings a little bit more life to the eye.
And Amber will show you here what hers look like when she's done.
Yes. Just like that. I don't know if you can see that. It's also on that original too.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And then we're done with the paint.
Oh, the fun begins now. I always like this part because it actually starts looking like something. Right now, it's just a bunch of pieces laying all over the table.
Yes. you'll want one of your Q-tips, and you'll also want your glue pod, which is just your single one here. And we're gonna work on the head first, doing things to that. So on that head, I'm gonna grab my beak, and I'm gonna glue my beak in. So all I'm gonna do, I think what I'm actually gonna do is leave my Q-tip sit, and I'm going to take the back side of the beak, where it goes into the gourd, and just dip that right into the glue. And then you'll just stick it right into the hole there.
Okay, now the nice thing about this glue is it is a tacky glue, and it will dry clear. So even though you may see a little bit of white around the nose where it hits the gourd, it will dry clear, and you won't even know that it's there.
Yep. So we just put that beak, and then the beak should go the whole way in till it's flush with the gourd. And then the next thing, we'll turn it around, and there's a little hole in the back of that head, and you're going to take your comb and put the comb into that hole. So the comb, as you can see, there's a pointy end on that comb. That is the part that you're going to put into the back side of that hole. So this pointy part here goes right into that hole. So again, just dip that point into the glue, and then just stick it right into the hole, and that'll tack up really nicely. And you should be able to push it into the point where it almost, both sides almost touch the gourd, but not quite. And I'll show you. So it should just look just like that. And then we'll set the head to the side, and we'll grab our body again. Give everyone a couple minutes. And the next thing we're going to glue on is the feet. So you'll need both of your feet. You want to choose what side you want to face forward. It doesn't really matter, they're both the same. And you'll also want your 2 pins as well, dowel rod pins. What I would do is
Could you say that again?
Say that again.
Yes, so we're gonna take the 2 feet, and we're taking our dowel rod pin, and we're just sticking it right into the hole of that feet. And you'll just want to figure out what side you want it to be facing forward, and that's the side that pin is going to go on. So it'll look just like that with the pin in the back.
There's really no right side or wrong side to the feet, so.
No. And the pin should definitely fit into there, and if it's not, just push.
Just give it a little wiggle.
Yep. And then to glue that onto the body, you'll want to find the front of your gourd. Now the front of your gourd is going to have those 2 holes drilled already for your feet. So you just want to find those 2 holes. And this time, I'm not going to dip the dowel rod into the glue. I'm actually going to take my Q-tip and dip that into the glue and put glue right in the holes on the body. And that is so that I do get some glue on the body as well as down into the hole, because the feet will actually touch the body of the gourd, and it'll just help them to stick a little better. And there's not a left or a right for these feet, so it does not matter what side you put what foot. You'll just stick them right down into the hole. And then you can either let your feet sit straight up and down, or you can have them have a little tilt like the original has here. It's just a little tilt and it gives them just a little bit more character. But you're more than welcome to leave them up and down as well. But I am gonna give them a little bit of a tilt.
Mine are tilted a little bit too.
Just like that. Everybody doing okay so far? I don't have any no's, so that's good.
I have no comment, so we're good.
The next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna glue the head onto the body. So all you'll do is you'll take your Q-tip again, and you'll just put some glue on the inside rim of the body here. You don't have to do the whole way around. I would do about 4 or 5 of the rim of the inside cuts. Again, not worrying about if you get too much glue on there. You want enough so that your head holds together.
And your head can only go on one way. So
Yes.
sometimes it's like a maze or a puzzle trying to figure out, but it should, your nose should be right in between your little feet.
Yep. And you'll just plop that head right down on there. That's good. Just giving everybody a couple more minutes here to glue their heads on. And then we only have one more piece left to glue on. And that's your little waddle here. So we're just gonna give everybody a couple more minutes just to get caught up.
Just to let you know, your glue will take, I would say probably 30 to 40 minutes to completely set up. So once you have your head glued on, don't try and pick him up by his stem or by the comb in the back. Thank you. Because his head's going to come right off.
Yep.
So,
and I can demonstrate that. I mean, it's pretty tacked up because the bottom half is not heavy and we don't have a lot of the gourd guts in the bottom of it.
right.
But if I would hold it here for a while, it would eventually pop off.
Yeah. So just give it a little bit of time. Once it's completely dry, then you can, pick it up however you want. But in the meantime.
So the last step, like I said, is to glue the waddle on. What I would do is I would flip it over to the side that is not painted. And I would put a thing of tacky glue on the top side. And then I would also put it on the very bottom side of that on the back. Those are going to be your 2 points that are going to sit on the gourd because the gourd is not flat and it's not sanded there. It's going to make the waddle just a little bit harder to sit on there. But if you glue the top and then the bottom too, it should definitely hold. Now what you could also do is, so Dory has it shown here. Yep, perfect. What you could also do is when you put it on, it should stick right away. But if it doesn't, kind of turn it to the side and look to see where that is sitting on the gourd. And then you can put your glue onto the waddle there as well. But if it should stick.
Yep, it does. Okay, I got my waddle on.
And then we are all done with the glue and the Q-tip. Once you get that waddle on. and it goes right up against the nose. So on the bottom of the nose, you just push it the whole way up so that it sits flush with that nose. And it goes on the bottom, just even, just like that. And then there's your little Hattie the hen.
Very cute.
So you're more than welcome to spray these if you have a spray at home.
Just if you have like a poly acrylic, it's called, you can get it either in a can that you spray it, or some people buy it actually in a can that you brush it on, and either way is fine. It sometimes makes the colors pop a little better, but you don't have to. It's not like they're going to come off on anything.
Yeah.
We would love to see what you guys made. If you'd like to share them with us on our Facebook or our Instagram, that would be great. And we're also looking for any suggestions, things that you'd like us to see us do a class on, things that maybe we haven't done, or techniques that you'd like us to show you how to do. All of that. And you can just email me directly. I'm the one who sent you the link today. So that would be great.
Eyelashes.
Oh, he looks good.
Yeah, and you're more than welcome to add any other kind of detailing to your gourd here.
So yeah, does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Ethan. Does anybody have any questions before we go or anything? Okay, well, if you do happen to think of any, please email me or give me a call. I'll be more than happy. I see some of you are still working on them. If you get stuck, just give me a holler tomorrow and I will walk you through. I'm also going to be sending a link tomorrow that you can watch this all over again. So if you had to leave or you only came halfway through, you'll be able to catch up there too. So I will be sending that link in your email to you.
Which way does the comb go? I
The
can't
back
see
part goes to the top.
the big part.
Yeah,
Goes to
yes.
the front.
The points go out, and then the rounded part is at the top.
Right. But the three,
The three combs,
yeah, does that go to the front or the back?
it goes to the back.
Okay.
Did you do your mom? Yes. So yeah, the three little comb parts, they actually go to the back.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Do that or not. So, okay. Well, if nobody has any questions or anything, thank you for spending the evening with us and painting and crafting with us. Glad you could make it. And please sign up for the other classes if you have any interest. We'd love to see you again. So thanks
you.
a lot.
See ya.
Oh, now